Okay, this was Big Baby Miller's last fight against Johan Duhaupas. This was Tomasz Adamek's last fight against Joey Abel. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Let's go talk about them both. Okay, so the rumor that's going around is that, in fact, I'm going to pull it up for you. I'm going to pull it up for you over here so you can see for yourself. Tomasz Adamek is 41 years old, by the way. He's fought Chad Dawson. He's fought, which one did he fight? Vitaly or Vladimir? I want to say it's Vitaly. He fought Vitaly Klitschko. Chris Arreola. I'm missing some names. Let's go look at him. He's over here. Tomasz Adamek, 41 years old, of Poland. Currently resides in Jersey. He used to have a lot of Steve Cunningham. He used to have a lot of fights in the Prudential Center. Last opponents after coming out of retirement, you're going to see Joey Abel. You may know him. He fought Tyson Fury in the past. Fred Kasi, who was getting a nice run of fights at one point in time in his career when he should have got that win over Chris Arreola after becoming the recipient of being the person with the getting knocked the fuck out by Amir Mansour, Huey Fury, Dominic Breazeale, Jarrell Big Baby Miller. So what I'm saying is Tomasz Adamek at 41 years old, he has looked good in his last 3 fights for a 41-year-old, especially since I know these names. For example, Joseph Parker fought Solomon Humanu. And this was just in the last couple of years, if I'm correct, right? You should, if you're a hardcore boxing fan, especially you follow the heavyweights, you should know the name of Fred Kasi and Joey Abel. So, even though I feel that he should have fought Kubrat Pulev, and I'm thinking like, I understand the fight would have took place in Bulgaria, but still, it's like, how can you, like, this fight, if it's true, the rumor is that, according to Dan Rayfield on, let me pull it up. It is 7:54 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've been up since about 5:30 or so. Watched the episode of Perfect Strangers, then made a small little breakfast, and then I came down and watched Tomasz Adamek's last fight. Let me pull this up over here. People give Fat Dan a lot of shit. Let me tell you something. When it comes to like the news, I don't take him seriously in regards to, this is not being disrespectful, in regards to like news unless it's confirmed. Like, he's the guy that can get Bob Arum, that can get Eddie Hearn, that can get, Steven Espinoza and Frank Warren, all those guys to confirm. But when it comes to fights that are cooking, he doesn't really have a connection with the boxers more. So I've always said this, right? The biggest news you get, or the most reliable news you get, is the news that you get from the people that are around the boxers, the people that were at, a Floyd Mayweather barbecue, that overheard some shit. The people that are working the corners with some fighters only for certain, fights that are in certain areas, because, it's hard to explain. But you get a lot of news about what fights are really, really cooking that way. So people say, man, you should know better not to take Dan Rayfield seriously. Yo, y'all don't have to talk to me like that. I've been doing this shit for fucking, seriously. I've been doing it seriously for about 6 years, close to 6 years. I've been on YouTube for damn near 8 years in November. Yeah, I don't have to tell me no shit like that. I know who all these motherfuckers are. You see what I'm saying? So the point is, this is what he posted here. Let me zoom in. One of the fights being planned for Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn's first American-based The Zone. That's what this shit means, Dan. I hate that fucking name. card on October 6th in Chicago on paper is a disgraceful mismatch. Multiple sources told ESPN, meaning him, terms have been agreed for heavyweight contender Jarrell Big Baby Miller to, and then he's going to talk about, and you click on the article, taking on Tomasz Adamek. Now, understand, in Chicago, Polish fighters are the shit. Polish, in New York too, but more in Chicago. They turn up for their fighters, you know. So this is a fight where I'm thinking that Tomasz Adamek is 41 years old. You can't take that away from me. You know, I want to go full screen. Let's go through his resume so we can really, really talk about it before we go any further. He's 41 years old, 53-5, 31 years old. Former, was he a light heavyweight champion? I know he was a cruiserweight, but was he light heavyweight? Let's go all the way back down. All the way back down. Him and Chad Dawson were both undefeated when they met. Now remember, well, I covered a lot of these fights post 2010. I used to be a huge Tomasz Adamek fan, and then after he was supposed to retire, you know, and stay retired, you know, I stopped following him. But Chad Dawson, then he moves up to cruiserweight. Controversial fight right here against Steve Cunningham. Became a world champion. You may know Jonathan Banks as Vladimir Klitschko, former Vladimir Klitschko trainer. Doesn't he train Cecilia Brakas too? Damn, hold up. Where we at? Bobby Gunn. Andrew Golota. Now, these are before the 2010s. Chris Arreola, I covered this fight. Kevin McBride, Vitaly Klitschko, covered this one too, years back on another channel. Covered the Eddie Chambers fight. Steve Cunningham rematch. This time they were for the heavyweight. See, I know all. Oh, remember, he was supposed to fight Prince Charles Martin. He got injured. We ain't seen him again. He lost. We ain't seen him again. Tsar Glaskov. Alter Szpilka. He should have retired. Eric Molina. No, wait. He retired in between here somewhere. Eric Molina. And then this is his comeback right here. He came back 14 months later. You know, one more run. One more run. One more run. Solomon Humanu, Fred Kasi, Joey Abel. Maurice Walk, Jarrell Washington. I would say Jarrell Washington. You know, I'm trying to figure out. I mean, this was a good performance, but I'm trying to figure out. And I was at this fight. I'm trying to figure out, was I at this fight? I remember. I was at this fight. I would have really liked to see him fight Kubrat Pulev. I would have really liked to see him fight Kubrat Pulev, you know, if it is true. I don't know why he's on the screen. This is who he was rumored to fight, Artur Szpilka, but Artur Szpilka posted something, and I actually think I put it on my, I retweeted it. He posted something saying that, you know what, I'm glad that I took my services over to Twitter. Twitter has really helped me. Over the last 2 months or so, I've been spending a lot of time over there, and it's not as hard to get, like, boxing news anymore. Hold up. No, I retweeted it. Because the boxers that tell you themselves, like, you know, and then they be talking a lot of shit to each other. Here he is. This is Szpilka right here. He's saying that he's returning. I translated this. Saying he's returning November the 10th. My understanding that Danny Jacobs is supposed to fight Derevchenko on November the 10th, right? So it's not going to be him. Another thing is Big Baby Miller saying that he's going after the winner of this fight, Manuel Charr and Frez Oquendo, who hasn't fought in 4 years, by the way. The winner of that will be the WBA World Champion. But you also have Dillian Whyte, who says he wants that winner. Now, let's say, for example, doesn't Dillian Whyte and Jarrell Big Baby Miller make sense? I mean, you have Dillian Whyte, who won last week in a very close fight against Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker team want to file an appeal because of the headbutt, and it shouldn't have counted as a knockdown. Then the fight would have ended in a draw, blah, blah, blah. But you have Dillian Whyte, who wants to return at the end of this year. He's already pretty much looking like a shoe-in for I mean, they're going to shoehorn him in for Anthony Joshua's fight if he doesn't lose to Povetkin September the 22nd, for him to fight Joshua in a rematch at Wembley in April of next year. They're already selling it to you. But he wants that WBA, a shot at that WBA world title that Charr and Oquendo are fighting for September the 29th, the week after Joshua Povetkin. But it doesn't make sense because it's like, well, for these guys, right, the WBA and the WBO has listed Alexander Povetkin as their mandatory, which means that they won't have a mandatory shot for a WBA title if they're chasing that title to get the Joshua, so they say. They won't have a WBA shot until, what, 2020, about the end of 2019, 2020. Likely be beginning, you know, around Joshua's timeline of fights, March, April, May of 2020. It's looking like they could pull some shit like that off. Because when you're a super champion, he's a super champion for the WBA and the WBO, you don't get a mandatory for at least 18 months. So, and Alexander Povetkin is the current mandatory. So, both of these guys, Dillian Whyte and Jarrell Miller, didn't want to fight Kubrat Pulev, where it would be big money for them both, even though it would be in Bulgaria, I understand. It would be big money for them both, but it will also be an easier path to that IBF title. I mean, to a title shot with Anthony Joshua, so Eddie Hearn can't pull no shit with you, or Anthony Joshua can't pull no bullshit with you. So it seems as though these guys are looking for the easiest path, in my opinion, to get to a heavyweight title without like fighting each other. Or is it, you know, or is it Eddie Hearn like playing this type of chess where he's like, I got you over here, Dillian Whyte, I got Jarrell Miller over here. We're going to keep you guys as far away from each other as possible. And then we got Anthony Joshua too. And then, you know, like that's what it seems like. Also, on that card on October the 6th, actually, it's going to be free because the Zone is giving a, let's go to their website. Let's do it over here. I did it over here. Let's do it over here. It's actually going to be, the first 30 days are free. It's $9.99 a month. Let me tell you the reason why I'm supporting the Zone. Right now, I don't care for Matchroom USA cards. You know, they're a startup company. They're still trying to get fighters. I still want to, you know how they're going to fill all those dates. You know, they have a lot of dates. We're talking about 16 shows over here they're going to have in the States. You know, we know of 2 so far. October the 6th, 3 so far. There's an October the 6th show, which is going to feature this fight we're talking about, Big Baby Miller versus Tomasz Adamek. Jesse Vargas versus Tomas Delorme, we're hearing about. Who else? Danny Roman versus Gavin McDonnell. And Katie Taylor is supposed to be on the October 20th card. That's supposed to feature Billy Joe Saunders versus Demetrius Andrade in Boston. Katie Taylor's supposed to be in that card, and that's all we know about that card. There's another card happening in November in Cali we're hearing about, which is going to feature Maurice Hooker versus Alex Salcido. They have a purse bid coming up. We're going to do a video on that fight soon. But here is the platform that it's supposed to be on. You'll be able to watch on, it's a streaming, platform. You know where you can watch at on your, your game, your tablet, phone, or whatever. $9.99 a month. The first month is supposed to be free. What I care about is we're going to get those Matchroom overseas cards. For example, there was a card I was trying to watch. It's called Next Gen over here. I mean, Next Gen over there in the UK. It's like, kind of like Showbox. But they had Natasha Jonas versus Vivian Obanoff. And it was a laggy stream. So we're supposed to get all the UK fights from Eddie Hearn. We're supposed to get over here on the Zone for $9.99 a month. That right there sells it for me. And then, mixed in with Bellator and the original programming, I guess we're going to get like the Sky Sports programming, stuff like The Gloves Are Off, those little, like original programming, interviews. I'm hoping they include in that package like everything they put on Sky Sports. I'm talking about I want to see a digital catalog when I'm seeing all that stuff that's geo-blocked over here that I can't watch, online. I want to see all that shit. I want to see everything from the UK in regards to Matchroom boxing over here in the States. That's what I'm going to be paying for. They're going to have the World Boxing Super Series, too. That right there is worth $9.99 alone to me, a hardcore boxing fan. But in regards to Matchroom USA, they still building. I'm not going to give them shit just yet. But we got to do another video on the on ESPN Plus, The Zone, Showtime, HBO, Frank Warren, and how that all plays in. Then that knee keeps distracting me. Anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. The press conference is going to be Wednesday. So right now it's Monday, August the 8th. August the 6th. Press conference is going to be this Wednesday the 8th. It's likely going to be streaming. Jesse Vargas is going to be there. Artur Beterbiev is going to be there. Daniel Roman, Caleb Johnson, Jarrell Miller. Artur Beterbiev is fighting Caleb Johnson, by the way. Daniel Roman is confirmed he's fighting Gavin McDonald. And they're saying Jarrell Miller's opponent is to be announced. Tomasz Adamek is in camp, by the way. Artur Szpilka, as we talked about earlier in the video, confirmed that he's fighting on November the 10th, which is not October the 6th, obviously. And Katie Taylor, I'm guessing since her name is not on the press release, she's definitely being moved to that October 20th card that's in Boston, which makes sense because she's Irish. Please subscribe. All the links to my social media right down below in the description box. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live.